you already know how it was with the last time this happened, and you just gonna sit this one out. That's a little crazy.
Yeah, it is. But all right, anyway, without further ado, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your boy, the Dread Man, and I'm back with the AFC NFC Championship edition of the NFL Fourth and Goal podcast. I'm your host here with my boy Flip, Megaton, and Waz. Gentlemen, what's up? What's going on with y'all tonight?
Not much, man. Hey, look, I'm a happy man. That's all I can say. I'm chilling. He got it done.
Yeah, Chargers finally got probably the best coach they've had in at least over a decade.
I heard the giddiness in Flip's
voice.
Yeah.
But yo, bro, all right,
but man, the first coach hiring since what? Schottenheimer. That's what we had. That was actually an established coach. He's been experimenting with bums and niggas for about 15, 20 years.
Do the Chiefs make the Super Bowl? I say so. All right, I'm responding to
a former Chicago Bear. Y'all are welcome.
Yeah.
There you go. He's a former Charger too. What can I say?
Do the Chiefs make the Super Bowl? We're gonna get into that. All right. One of the viewers, because right now we got 28 viewers live on TikTok right now. We got We got two questions. We got one, do the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl? We got two, what's the final score of the Chiefs-Ravens game? Oh, he said 35-38 Chiefs. Okay, well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get into it. All right, but anyway, fellas, what y'all think of that divisional round?
Divisional round went exactly as I expected it to. Down to the T. Like no surprises there. We know for a fact. I'm sorry, but Josh Allen, you got a daddy, and his name is Patrick Mahomes.
For the love of God.
So you might be like, because that's your daddy.
That might be the most. They lost in the. But see, here's the thing. That loss was not Josh Allen's fault. It was the damn kicker. Now, don't get me wrong. They had plenty of chances to put the game away, especially in that third quarter. But the thing is, you can't rely on a kicker to win the damn game for you. Case in point. But anyway, Waz, what'd you think of divisional weekend?
I thought it was all right. I didn't particularly. I thought again the Chiefs-Bills game was pretty good. Other than that, I mean, other than the Bucs maybe making it interesting with the Lions, that game was a little bit closer than I thought. But I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, probably a little bit salty just because of how San Francisco looked in keeping that game pretty close against the Packers. But that there's a lot involved in that game. That the weather was pretty shoddy. People got hurt early, and it just wasn't a good performance from Purdy throughout the game until the very end when they needed it. But other than that, obviously, I think the biggest takeaway this past weekend, other than the Bills kind of doing what they always do against the Chiefs in the playoffs, I think it would just be that Lamar probably having his best game in the postseason. That's kind of been what I mean. I've been waiting on personally is just to see an actual big game from Lamar in the postseason. And yeah, he did it, and he did it last week. So we'll see. That's again, he's gonna need to do that next week, obviously, for them to have a chance.
Right.
I know the Chiefs are. I didn't even look at the line. I don't know if the Chiefs are favored or not.
They're favored by 2.5 points.
Yeah, that's to be expected.
That's nothing.
The Ravens
really.
are at home, but I think I think it's the Ravens. The Ravens certainly the Ravens fine, but we can get into that. But in terms of last weekend, very much like what Megaton said, a lot of it was all to be expected. Pretty much chalk across the board. Bucks did make it more interesting than I thought they would. I thought the Lions would kind of, put them away pretty early, but the Bucks kind of made it more interesting. Baker had another great game.
Well, yeah, for sure. But yeah, it is disappointing. I mean, now I just got a comment that says the Packers. This is kind of a bold comment, but you can't help but agree somewhat. He said the Pack exposed the 49ers and Detroit knows it. Well, I don't entirely disagree. But the thing is, the Niners, the thing is, the Lions ain't the Pack. But the thing is, I can't really say that because they're in the same damn division. So if anybody would know them, it's them. But still, the only difference is, are the Lions smart enough to exploit those flaws they saw in Detroit? Because look at the score. The thing is, they went blow for blow with the 49ers right up until the end when Jordan Love threw that pick, which was ridiculous. But yeah,
I think, well, I agree. Whoever said that said something that was kind of valuable. Like, they did expose certain parts of that, and that's the overextension of the pass rush.
But can they exploit that?
Their rush, yeah, the defense overextends the rush to a point where you can get your run game off on them, and if you have decent backs, you can definitely like set up play action, but you have to discount part of that because their defense is built on speed, and if you got a defense built on speed and you're playing in a rainy game, it gets ugly. You know what I'm saying? It gets ugly in every situation and scenario imaginable, man. You can't make the cuts that you normally used to. You can't plant as much and be reactive. And everybody's jersey kind of slippy. So, if you got a run game in the rain or in, certain instances in the snow, it kind of changes the dynamic of that game, especially when you got driving winds and driving rain. You saw Purdy go through the glove. He had to take the glove off and thought he was Michael Jackson for the first half of the game. And after that, you know what I'm saying, he took the glove off and tried to get his hee on. So, let him do that. But at the same time, you can't dismiss the weather, man. The weather always going to be a factor.
True.
That's the only reason why football is the great sport that it is. So let's rock with a little bit of that. I don't think you completely expose that defense because that defense is still that defense. You know what I mean? You got two of the best linebackers in the game. You got technically, arguably, the best defensive line left in the playoffs. You can get that off. So that's my only thing about exposing them. Yeah, think you did if you want to. And Detroit has a running game.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The thing is, so a couple of things. This was a classic Shanahan game. For anyone that's a big fan, obviously, of San Francisco or is familiar with Coach Shanahan, he likes to he tries to get very, very cute with his offense instead of just doing certain things that are guaranteed to be productive and win the game.
But
for instance, like they should have been running the ball a hell of a lot more with McCaffrey, getting Eli Mitchell involved, getting Jordan Mason involved, all of that, and instead they kept throwing these flats directly, like these lateral plays to McCaffrey instead of going north and south, instead of just going vertical. They kept trying to do these lateral plays in that kind of weather
because they saw what worked against Dallas. They saw what worked against Dallas and like, hey, they're gonna try to zone blitz us to death. That's not gonna work, especially not against somebody like Christian McCaffrey that can run. But go on.
No, they were trying to do that, and it just and freaking and then that freaking a handoff to Jennings, like in the second half, like the start of the second half, like it was like ridiculous. Like why are we giving the ball to our third string wide receiver here? It was just like
no, because I tell you what it was, because they didn't prepare for him and they were trying to give a different look.
Yeah, maybe. To be honest, I mean, Shanahan, I think the press conference afterwards, just like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I need Shanahan to step out of himself.
But see,
he's been known to blow games. Like I know Shanahan has this things with like the Niners always have a lead. And they're like basically unbeatable with a lead, but they can't come from behind. But Shanahan just needs to not get cute with this ball. You have the best running back in the game. He needs to get, and again, we have 2 games left in the season here. He needs to be getting at least 25 to 30 carries in each of these next 2 games. Like, I understand, like, you're putting the ball in Purdy's hands, but he, like, semi-trusts Purdy. He semi-does. He doesn't fully trust Purdy, but he's still willing to call a lot of these pass plays. And he needs to just lean on McCaffrey. Purdy will be fine as long as that. Obviously, what we can see, as long as it's not raining, I'm not worried about Purdy in the long run. As long as it's not raining and he doesn't tear an elbow muscle, I think we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah. All right, Flip. What are your thoughts on divisional weekend?
Oh, this shit was it was pretty cool.
Mhm.
I thought the Chiefs Bills game went a little bit like I thought. I just thought the Bills were gonna pull it off instead
Yeah.
of the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate that Tyler Bass can't make a field goal.
Jesus.
Bucks Lions, yeah, it was a fun game. It looked like the Bucks were gonna let it be a blowout for a little while, but then they kind of turned it around. Packers Niners, I think I agree with you. I think the rain made it closer than it was because I think that well also Debo getting hurt made it closer than it was too because
Mm-hmm.
that Packers team formidable. I think it's less 49ers getting exposed and more we're underestimating that Packers team because
Yeah.
that's the same Packers team that
It's goody, bro.
demolished the Cowboys last week. We heard it all throughout that game.
Hey, fuck the Packers. Hey, man, stop.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Look,
I good.
they're gonna be a force in the NFC next season
For sure.
Unfortunately for Megaton and his boys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's we're underestimating this Packers team. That defense came to play. They stopped the Niners for all 4 quarters basically. It was just that Brock Purdy had a great final drive and got the game finished. I think we got 2 really good games, and 1 solid game. So I'm cool with the way everything turned out. I'm looking forward to seeing how the 49ers are going to play without Debo from here on out. I agree with Ross too that I was expecting Christian McCaffrey to run the ball at least 20 plus times that game. You put the ball in your best player's hand at all times.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was hungry to make a play, and thank God that he did make a play for the Niners in was it, the 3rd or 4th quarter?
Third quarter,
he had
I believe.
that big run.
Yeah, it was 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it was a weird coaching from Shanahan, but it seems like every time Shanahan gets into the postseason, he does some wonky shit that just either loses them the game or it makes you question like, are we going to actually make it to the Super Bowl and win this time? So we're going to see. But 49ers are still my team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to show me that the Lions are a formidable team for them in the AFC or the NFC Championship game. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, without any further ado, let's get into it. First, we got the AFC Championship with the Baltimore Ravens at home going up against the 2-time Kansas City Chiefs. Megaton, who you got? Ravens, Chiefs, go.
Oh, man. This is a battle of America.
Yes.
This is a battle of things that are pop culture versus things that are football. Things that are very dope versus things that are, kind of popular and make people who might not be paying attention pay more attention.
Right.
Even after I saw that Kelsey boy run up and down with his belly out, drinking beers, having the best time of his life, I couldn't help but think about, is this really more Taylor Swift promo?
Yeah.
And, the Super Bowl, expensive money, things on the table. I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist for a second.
Fire away.
I'm not talking about stats right now. This is beyond stats. I think Lamar is dope. I think he's going to, I want it. I want it for Lamar. So bad. He needs to beat the one who has held down the AFC Championship game for 6 years straight. You can't take away from Mahomes. Mahomes is that dude, man. Mm-hmm. He gets it done. But the circus around him, if he can beat the circus around him, then people are going to start doing these Jordan comparisons to when Rodman was there. And I don't want to hear it. So, there are so many things at play right now. And Lamar Jackson, if it's not now, then it's when. He already done beat the expectations. He got back. He got to the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people won't give him validation if it ain't tell that. But you still need Zay Flowers to do what he got to do.
Right.
You need Roquan
Smith
to really step up and control that defense in a way that makes everybody work And I don't know if Humphreys is playing. Is he injured? Is he not? Like, questionable? And is he fully healthy enough to even be the impact of the secondary that he is? I don't know if we see that. So if I'm looking at what Baltimore normally does, I think their defense is strong enough to give Kansas City some problems. But they found a way.
Mark Andrews is back. Okay.
And I just feel like, they put Reba McEntire at like up there singing the national anthem with Usher doing his halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
That might not be enough for them. And I think the NFL gonna say, hey man, but if Taylor Swift's in the audience, and maybe we can get him to come outside and do some shit.
Mm-hmm.
It might. So yeah, that's my conspiracy theory. So I'm sorry, I went on a tirade for a little bit, but I'm gonna pass it back to you. My score, unfortunately, as much as I don't want to see it, is probably 27-24 Kansas City.
All righty. All right, boys. Ravens, Chiefs. Who you got?
Yes, it's hard to go against Mahomes and what he's done so far. Making it to 6 straight AFC championships and them being the guys that being the team to knock off the defending champs. And I don't want to see the Chiefs in there. I don't particularly do. If San Francisco for whatever reason loses next week or whatever happens, I'm going to be pulling for the Ravens. Well, actually, no. If Detroit wins, I think a party will probably be pulling for Detroit. But I would like to see Baltimore at least make it there and knock off Mahomes. I think Mahomes doesn't have a rival now. I think everyone put Josh Allen with Mahomes as Josh, kind of like a Brady Manning type of rivalry. But Allen is more like I guess I think I saw the analogy like Allen at this point is more like Phillip Rivers to Mahomes' Tom Brady. So I think I gotta say I think Mahomes is waiting. He's needs another quarterback in the same conference to kind of try to push him and elevate him. And this has been Lamar's another probable MVP season for Lamar. As he's looked last week again in the postseason. I think this is the year. I mean, all season long, this has been the best AFC team. Like this team should win. Like they've only had a few bad games, and they were in all of the games that they lost. So it's really really hard. They're at home. I can't pick against Mahomes and the Chiefs, despite this is probably like the worst offense like that Mahomes has had around him. And Pacheco's been playing pretty solid, but Kelsey's got half step loss. He's not who he was the last couple of years. It feels like, but I think somehow I trusted Mahomes to pull it off. Even though I think the Ravens are better, it's a really tough game, man. I think this is probably the Ravens' year, but I can't go against Mahomes until someone knocks out the champs. So yeah, give me the Chiefs to win this game. I think it's going to be pretty close. I'm going to say 28-24 Chiefs.
Alrighty, Flip, Ravens, Chiefs. Who you got?
All right, Megaton had a conspiracy theory. I got a conspiracy theory.
All right, this should be interesting.
Mine, I feel, is a little bit more on the competitive side. It's not on the Swifty side. I think John, seeing his brother come back to the NFL, he just won a national championship in college. He knows what he's coming for. He's coming for that Super Bowl. He wants to be the first one in the family to be the 1-1 guy. So I think this is John's year. He's determined. He's determined to get number 2. He's got Lamar playing at MVP levels. He's got the defense to stop Mahomes. He found his rookie in Zay Flowers. He's got the guy who was almost Super Bowl MVP in Odell Beckham before he got hurt.
Yeah.
I think this is the year we see him try to get number 2. This is the best year to do it. He's going up against the 49ers again, probably in the Super Bowl if he wins this.
Yeah.
It would be bittersweet for him to win number 2 against his brother's old team. So if we want to talk conspiracies, there we go. Ravens Niners Super Bowl rematch.
Flip. Yeah. I want to believe you. Like I really do. Like
yeah,
that's
I'm a Cards fan.
And you convinced me also. But like I really want to believe you. Like and like the other one just won the college championship. So what if his brother wins the NFL championship? Then the family going crazy. Like that is such a better story. And like you got Kelsey brothers who played in the Super Bowl last year too. You know what I'm saying? And then they had that, and he over here doing all this. Yeah, so I like it. I like it. I'm sorry, but that got me excited. I want to believe him.
It's John telling Jim, you might want to get number 1, but I'm going for number 2 right now. You got that national championship. You better get you better get your first Super Bowl.
Right.
He's saying you sitting at the table now. Well, I'm about to be head of the table. I'm about to be number 2. That is
right.
We getting the hardball bowl next year. We are getting the hardball bowl next year, the AFC championship.
You know what? I ain't mad at that. I ain't gonna be mad at it. For real. But yeah, guys.
I think this might be the toughest defense that Mahomes is going to face
I'll add you in a second, Keisha.
In this playoff run. I think this offense is just as formidable as the Bills were. And the thing with the Bills is the Bills, it felt like he was out of the everything for the last few weeks. I was surprised they made it how far they've made it with Stephon Diggs not, playing up to a top 5 potential player.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see that, and I'm saying Zay Flowers, he's having a hell of a rookie year. Lamar looks like he's locked in. Roquan Smith and the boys on the defensive side, yeah, they're banged up, but they're still playing crazy defense. They stopped C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud was balling with Nico Collins. They stopped that man. So what's telling me that Mahomes with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce is going to go in there and do what he did to the Bills? And the Bills look pathetic. That first half when I saw how do you leave Travis Kelce wide open like that? Yeah. He is the number 1 guy on that field that you have to look out for, and you left him wide open. That's unacceptable to me. I don't think you see that from the Ravens. I think the Ravens actually get pressure on Mahomes. I think Lamar is going to be very tough and very hard to take down, unlike the Josh Allens and the I don't even know who they faced before that. But I just think that we see Lamar Jackson elevate this game. I think we see Lamar go crazy. I think if anyone's as good as a coach as Andy Reid, it's John Harbaugh. I think overall, I look at this Ravens team and see a team that can actually topple Mahomes and the Swifties. I just I gotta go against y'all.
I believe you,
man.
I want to believe you, but I'm telling you, that's where I struggle. But go ahead and get your points on.
Yeah.
But I want you. I want to believe in you. Like
the only thing that's scaring me in this game is the refs.
If
there is a conspiracy going on, we're gonna see a lot of calls.
Oh hell yeah!
But my final score for this game, my prediction is going to be 33-30. Ravens beat the Chiefs.
33-30. All right. And the boy Smitty in the comments says 33-31 Chiefs. Now I got a lot of
Wait. Can we give a shout out to Roquan? Like, I gotta give a shout out to Roquan. I think he the rebirth for y'all out there. You got some things. I know you hate to hear this because you're a Pittsburgh fan.
Oh yeah.
But Roquan, we thought he was a dog. Like when he was in Chicago, we thought he was gonna be like the next Brian or like a Lance Briggs or one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to go somewhere where he could get his credit. He is an orchestrator on defense, man. And I think that's being underplayed in this game too. So one of the things to watch out for is really going to be how Roquan kind of plays that joust mentally with what's going to happen with Patrick Mahomes trying to orchestrate that defense and those blitzes. Because Roquan won the defense, and if they got Marlon Humphreys back, they might actually be better if he healthy. So, thoughts?
Only thing that scares me is Pacheco in this game.
Yeah.
The Ravens are prone to giving up some big runs.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want them to win.
Yeah.
I want them to win. I don't think they will, but I'm with the Ravens.
Yeah.
In the heart.
With the Ravens too here.
Now guys, this one is very, very, this is a tough pill for me to swallow because on the one hand, the majority of NFL fans are sick of watching the new age Patriots, aka the Kansas City Chiefs, go to AFC Championship after AFC Championship. On another hand, my division rival is playing up against these guys. And on top of that, a lot of people want the Taylor Swift hype, the Taylor Swift hype train that the Kansas City Chiefs become to end. But also, a fun statistical fact, and I brought this up in the group chat with you guys. Out of every Ravens-Chiefs game played where Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes have both started, Lamar Jackson has never beaten Patrick Mahomes. Ever. Out of the 5 games from 2017 to today, they have faced each other 5 times where both of these guys are starting quarterback. The Ravens haven't won 1. Well, Lamar Jackson has not won 1. But keys to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs. What do they have to do to win? Okay, key number 1 is you might not want to turn this into a firefight. You might want to keep this on the ground. Maybe. Number 2, your defense has to blitz the living hell out of Lamar Jackson. They have to. You got to force Lamar Jackson to beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his arm, but we saw what the hell he can do with his legs against the Houston Texans. The third key to victory is, of course, limit those turnovers, and special teams really got to step up. Now, keys to victory for the Ravens. I know that the Ravens have established themselves as a heavily offensive team, but I feel like they got to go back to their roots. They got to go back to being the scary defensive team they were back in the early and mid 2000s. They got to make it, I don't want to say a dirty game, but they kind of have to make it a, they have to put the hurt on Patrick Mahomes. They really got to, they got to get in his grill, man. They got to put his ass on the ground. If it's not sacks, then QB hits. You got to make him get rid of the ball faster than he wants to. Second thing is for keys to victory for the Ravens is they have to get a little bit tricky with the playbook. They can't be one-dimensional with their play calling. They might have to throw some loopy trick plays out there. They have to give Andy Reid some different looks where Andy Reid looks at these guys like, hey, wait a minute. That wasn't in the playbook. That's not in the game tape. I didn't expect that. And the third thing they have to do, they have to really they have to match them punch for punch with the run game. They have to outrun they got to outrun the defense because we've seen how shaky the run defense can be for the Kansas City Chiefs, but they got a 1-2 punch. They got Mark Andrews. Oh yeah, Mark Andrews is back, and we've seen what they can do on the ground with Lamar Jackson. This pains me to say it, and I really hate to say it, but give me the Baltimore Ravens 30-28 over Kansas City. Ugh. I need to go rinse my mouth out after saying that. Oh, boy. But anyway, next up, we got the NFC Championship game. You got the Detroit Lions going on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. Whew! Megaton, Niners, Lions, who you got?
Man, Detroit deserves something good.
Yeah, that's weird. Coming from you,
Detroit something nice.
Coming from you, a Bears fan.
Like they got legalized gambling, but that ain't helping the community.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do for Detroit? Detroit ain't had shit since Motown. Detroit ain't had shit since the car industry crashed. Can we give Detroit some love today?
Well, they got Eminem and the Pistons.
That's what I want to give. The 49ers and Wise, I'm sorry, my guy. I know that, like, y'all been through some turmoil as well. But, I mean, it ain't as bad as Detroit.
No, it's not.
Y'all got people living on the street and all of that and craziness. And, like, houses cost $500,000 for a shanty.
Shit.
But at the same time, it's San Francisco, Silicon Valley, baby. Y'all all right. Detroit is cold. It snow all the time. Ain't nowhere to go. Sometimes outside because you stuck and it's cold. And it's negative 12 degrees and it's snow on the ground. And they got to shovel and go to work anyway because they job still mad at them. Y'all's temperature is 55 degrees all the damn time out there. Like, if not giving Detroit something, can we give Detroit something?
Detroit is hungry right now. I'll give them that.
The Pistons ain't been good since Ben Wallace. They ain't had a good hockey team since Steve Eiserman.
Don't get me started on the Detroit Tigers.
Ain't had a good baseball team since Verlander left. Like, if not for Detroit, what, Joe? They gave us all these cars. They gave us the Cadillac. Can we let them get a little bit of love? Can we please?
Well, I mean, they got Eminem, they got D12, they got Calvin Johnson, they got Barry Sanders.
Eminem grew up in a trailer park.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, he made it. He's a great example. That's one dude from a trailer park, man. And that's your example? Come on, Detroit meant so much more to the world. Detroit was the Paris of the Midwest. They called it that. It was the Paris of America at a certain point because of fashion and music and culture. It was a thing. Can we make Detroit great again, man? It don't matter.
Detroit, where's everybody?
Matter. And that's Nick Bosa.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
No matter. Shout out to Detroit. We ride for the D. I'll pause.
Pause that. But yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
Pause.
But yo.
Well, I didn't hear that.
That was bad. That sounded horrible on replay. But for real, it was inspiring, wasn't it, though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just
inspiring. For a second, right? So, like, look at it like this, man. And go ahead, like, I'll come back to my score and some of my analysis. I talked for too long. I'm going to move this on Wise real quick and let him get his shit off right quick before I finish with my expert analysis.
All right, Wise, who you got? Lions, Niners, and keys to victory. What do the Lions have to do to win? And what are the...
It's hard to follow.
Yeah,
it's hard to follow that. So here's the thing. San Francisco last week was a lucky game for them. They caught a lucky break. That was kind of a wake-up call, and I think that is absolutely what they needed to get their asses in gear, because they have to realize, listen, we cannot play like that again this week. Detroit's got a pretty solid offense. They're ready. They're ready. That crowd. I mean, actually, the crowd's going to be in San Francisco, not in Detroit. Thankfully, the Niners got home field, so we don't have to worry about that. Playing in Detroit in an NFC Championship game would be freaking difficult as hell, I bet. But that being said, San Francisco, again, they need to McCaffrey needs to have at least 25 touches. I know they're going to...
For sure.
He needs to have at least 25 touches. They need to effectively stop doing these BS lateral plays. But Shanahan cannot get freaking cute with the ball, with the play calling. Hell, again, get IU, get Kittle involved a little bit more. Obviously, Debo, I'm not counting on Debo playing. He injured a shoulder that he actually had the re-injury. He had the same injury early on in the season. He was out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
With that same shoulder injury. So I'm not expecting him to play in this game. Ideally, I think the Niners might think they could still probably win and beat Detroit without Debo, and they're probably banking on that and thinking, listen, we just need to get Debo rested and make sure he's ready for the Super Bowl. I have absolute full faith. I think the Niners are going to clean it up a lot. We have obviously a big glaring weakness at corner. That
What's up,
I think Goff and St. Brown.
Damn, that's bold.
That's one thing that really worries me. It worries me a little bit. I worry about that. I worry about Hutchinson on the right side, or right side offensive line. Not that it's a little bit shaky. I'm worried about that. But other than that, the defense with Detroit's not really bothersome for me. I think in Goff, as solid of a season as Goff has had, I still think there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of the old Goff where I think he can be prone to some mistakes as well. I think you could argue. I mean, you told me it's a toss-up whether you think you trust Jared Goff more than Brock Purdy. I don't know. But I think this is the Niners' game to lose. I think it's good that they got this game out of their system. The last week's game out of their system. With the way they played, I think that they're going to be a lot more buttoned up this week. And again, we saw what happened with Detroit. Detroit let Tampa Bay hang around.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well. They could definitely not do that against San Francisco, because San Francisco will beat the brakes off of them.
For sure.
I think this every so often, I think with the championship weekend, one of the games ends up being kind of a blowout and the other game's kind of competitive. I'm more inclined to think that the Chiefs-Ravens game is going to be a really close competitive game.
Yeah, it is.
And that this one is potential for being a 2-score blowout. And in that case, I am going to give it to San Francisco as long as again Purdy, McCaffrey are solid and healthy, and at least we get Kittle and Ayuk still in there, even though Debo's not. I don't think Detroit can win. Give me San Francisco to win this game. I'm going to say 28. I'm going to say 28-17.
All right, Flip. Who you got? Niners, Lions.
Yeah, I think I could agree with Waz here. I think this is a very fortunate game for the Niners because not many teams get to have that eye-opening kind of game and still win and come into the AFC or the NFC Championship game thinking, okay, we're not bulletproof. We're not this super team. We can actually almost lose. So I think that's really going to light a fire into this team. I think the Lions might be in a little trouble this week if this is a Niners team that kind of had a wake-up call. No Devo this week, which is kind of unfortunate because we see that the offense does get a little stagnant when Devo's out. But this has to be the game where we see Christian McCaffrey run 20-plus times. They have to just pound the ground or the ball on the ground.
Can you not call him? Can you not call him Debo? Can you call him Tyshawn?
Oh, my bad. Tyshawn, my bad. Tyshawn.
If he sits out, he's Tyshawn.
Yeah, Tyshawn.
Debo is a tough dude who plays in big situations. Tyshawn gonna sit on the bench then he Tyshawn.
Look, man.
It ain't gonna be no stealing bikes out here though.
Look, he had an injury, or he's saving himself for the Super Bowl, man. He gonna be Devo in the Super Bowl. So he gonna be Devo when it matters. But yeah, I think this Niners offense, this Niners defense, they're a complete team. The Niners are a complete team. They have a great offense, great defense, pretty good special teams, a great coach. It gets a little wonky sometimes, but we also look on the other side, same coach, pretty good coach, but gets a little wonky sometimes with the calls. The thing is, Jared Goff, he's been reliable this year. He hasn't turned over the ball a lot in this postseason. I don't think he's turned the ball over at all in this postseason. And I mean, St. Brown he's one of those guys that's unguardable, which is why I'm thinking if Brandon Ayuk doesn't show up this game, the Lions might steal one. Jahmyr Gibbs, home run runner, rookie season, and he's balling out.
Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, he ain't dropped a pass yet.
Yeah, he's been balling.
Yeah.
If the Lions had Matt Stafford on that team right now,
oh hell yeah,
quarterback that's top 10 competent, I think they bulldoze through this. But Jared Goff might be the weakness here. He might be he has to come and play because Osa, Chase Young, Fred Warner, they're going to attack.
Yes,
they're going to be on him all game, and we know that Goff under pressure is very prone to turnovers. And I just don't see this. I think this Green Bay defense was way tougher than this Lions defense.
Yeah.
I think you could see this Lions defense getting shredded, and if they have a turnover or two, and they the Niners capitalize on that, I think that's it. I don't see them coming back. So Laporta, St. Brown, Montgomery, Gibbs, they got to get out there and ball out because you can't let Jared Goff. You can't put the game in his hands. You have to minimize the amount of throws he makes. And we're gonna see, but I don't have a lot of faith in it. I think this Lions defense is way more easier to handle than this Green Bay defense was, and it's not a rain game. So I think we see McCaffrey and Ayuk and all those, and Kittle too. I think they let Kittle unleash. But I just got more faith in this Niners team. I think they're the more complete team. I'm gonna go with the Niners to get the W here. Give me the Niners. I'll say 30-24 over the Lions.
I like that score.
Let me get back in here real quick and get my points real quick.
All right.
Because I went on my tirade about Detroit.
Take it away.
First of all, I don't think that the Packers' defense is better than Detroit's at any way, shape, or form.
I disagree.
The defensive line in Detroit is way better. They had a defensive player of the year almost on a corner rusher that arguably is one of the most unstoppable forces in the league. Like him, T.J. Watt, the Donalds of the world. Like he's one of those game wreckers that you got to worry about and you got to account for. And I think that's a different part of that game that we really got to watch too. We talked about the running game being exposure. I think Montgomery and I think Gibbs can both run the ball efficiently and even off the edge. Like there are some schemes that they can pull that can exploit that rush that you can get from that defensive line and that push that you're going to get from Chase and from McAvoy. So, like, other than that, man, it's a different kind of game right now. And I think, the defense is going to be the difference. I give San Francisco the edge on defense because, I mean, like you arguing against, 6-7 perennial Pro Bowlers. You can't really, you can't argue against that. So, that part, all day. But if Rashawn don't play, I'm sorry, Tyshawn Raquan. Is he going to play? Because that offense looks totally different when he's not there. They had somebody step up last week in his place and make a hell of a lot of plays, but I don't see that against that Detroit secondary. You got a little bit of that pass rush, and then that secondary can cover and hold long enough to let them get there. So I look at this game a lot closer than y'all think, man. I think everyone's overestimating what San Francisco's offense looks like under Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? He makes great decisions. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He has high completions, but he doesn't take a lot of chances either. Yeah, I mean, motherfuckers was excited when he had a drive that actually led people down the field to score last time. Like, they were like, oh, can he do it? Can he prove it to us right now? Is this going to be the time when he proves it to us? Okay, you got one of those under your belt. You going to fold again or you going to keep moving? And I think that part also is being underestimated in this matchup. So let me take this back to being a little closer than we want to think. And fuck it, man. I'm going for my upset this week. I'm going for Detroit, man.
All right.
My story goes with Detroit right now, and I think it gets ugly, and it gets down to 21 to 17.
All right.
Detroit.
I'll say this, yeah. Go ahead, Megaton.
No. That's it. 21-17 Detroit.
Yeah, but
if it's a low-scoring game, I think Detroit has a much better opportunity, better chance. If
I
it's
agree.
like a grimier game, just because I think Shanahan's he's not willing to go back and embrace that a little bit. I know we're a physical team, but I think I don't trust Shanahan to not try to be cheap with the ball and cheap with play calling. And frankly, our defensive
I think
line,
2 or 3.
Other than Armstead, I mean, Bosa has not shown up for a while. Bosa has been gone. Bosa's been MIA. Like that, he's not the same player he was like a year ago or after he got paid. I mean, I think Flip might attest to it. I mean, I think the same thing happened with his brother Joey after he got a big contract. I mean, I feel like once Nick signed that deal, I mean,
and I'm from Chicago, so I can't talk too dirty about them because they mobbed up. You know, like their family is like old Chicago gangsters that actually like really came from like the mafia. They like some real like, hey, Paisano, I fuck you up, man. I said Joey and Nicky over there to beat your ass.
Yeah, we've had enough of
like they really goons. Like look up their history, Joe. They some goons.
Yeah, so, we've had enough of the Italian lingo.
Back up way too much.
Yeah,
because I gotta go back to Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, but definitely.
Oh, I see that now. Okay.
Please, Google it. It's right
there.
Right
that Italian mob went deep in Chicago back in the 40s and 50s, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man. You think don't think it's a game with the Buster boys.
No.
The Buster boys will be on your ass.
For sure. But all right. Anyway, my prediction. Man. Now I'm gonna allude to a couple of earlier points that you guys made. Now, it depends on what kind of a game this is. If the Lions can keep it low scoring, they got a chance. I mean, they got the offensive talent. I mean, they got their receiving core. They got some flyers. They got a hell of a good running game too. The only problem with that is everything that the Lions have on offense, the 49ers, they can more than match that. And I know I got on Dan Campbell earlier this year for calling a bunch of unnecessary ballsy plays, but I think he might have to make some more gutsy and ballsy plays if he wants to beat them. He really might have to pull a rabbit out of his hat for this one because everybody gets on him for being a risk taker. Well, guess what? If it was ever a time for you to take a risk, it's this NFC Championship game, damn it. Now, I got a comment that said, well, about the front, about the excuse me, not the front seven, but the Detroit Lions secondary is weak, but their front seven is better. Now, here's the thing about the front seven. The Lions front seven, they can get to Brock Purdy and make him uncomfortable. But the thing is Brock Purdy, the thing is, he got a quick release on that football. He can, it doesn't matter. You know, if they can get to him or not, he better get that ball out of his hand in 0.5 seconds. And guess what? He has 3, arguably 4 targets if you count Christian McCaffrey. Because Christian McCaffrey, he's damn near a slot. But then again, if I know you don't want to call him Debo at this point, but damn it, I'm gonna still call him Debo. But because the thing is, Debo Samuels is a game time decision. But just for the sake of this video, let's just say that he's not gonna play. Let's just say that he's out for this game. Brock Purdy still has a lot of targets to throw to. I think that Ayuk might be his main target, and he might throw couple of little slot passes to Christian McCaffrey. And I think that his red zone target might be George Kittle. I think he's only going to target him in the red zone. At least if I was the coach, if I was Shanahan, that's what I would do. I would have, I would throw my deep passes to Ayuk, and then I would just have George Kittle as just my red zone threat. Man, now let's talk about the defense here. That 49ers defense can make Jared Goff really uncomfortable. And if you hit Jared Goff, he gets happy feet. He starts trying to scramble and throw outside the pocket, and we know that he's not that accurate. And you can't do that with guys who can pick that ball off. I dare you to throw on the run, and you see Fred Warner coming across the middle, you try to throw it on the run. That ball's getting picked off 9 times out of 10. So, yeah. it depends on who's the better. I mean, talent on both sides is still pretty even, but it all depends on who makes the least amount of mistake and who has the better coaching job. Shanahan's always solid, while Dan Campbell is the risk taker. I'll be honest, guys. I would love to see I'd love to see the Detroit Lions win this one. I really would. But I'm gonna go with the hot hand here, and I'm gonna play it safe. Give me the San Francisco 49ers, let's say 31-26 over the Detroit Lions. I say they keep it very, very close in the first half. And then there's going to be those one or two little mistakes that the Lions make in the third or fourth quarter to come back to haunt them. But yeah.
Well, I'm first of all, I just want to shout out whoever said like the Detroit Lions, man, like Branch and Joseph and them out in the back got 11 interceptions between that secondary for the year.
All season.
Like they got like better safeties than most teams as far as ball hawks who are gonna go get it and then actually play it. And Jacobs on the corner, like you actually have people that can play. And I really think you're underestimating what Detroit can do on that secondary standpoint. So I want to push back on that comment a little bit. I think that the Detroit secondary is underrated. All those interceptions didn't come from tip balls.
Yeah. But the thing is, but I will go ahead and say this. They did come last week. But I'll say this though, but a lot of those, they might not have came from tip footballs, but it did come from the QB pressure and those guys catching those picks on the run when the quarterback was on the run. Not all of them, but a pretty good chunk of them. Prime example, the season opener against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the prime example right there.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, man. It don't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. And Detroit has played a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Every single one of their playoffs has been a close game. So I don't think they wilt under the pressure of trying to keep up with the score. But yeah, let's go.
I just thought of another conspiracy theory. Are we saying the season opener finish with
wow. Yeah. I thought about that too. How ironic would it be if we see the rematch, of the season opener in the Super Bowl? How ironic would that be?
That's actually my bet right now on this podcast. If I'm going through it,
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah. I kind of want to see Kansas City
and Detroit,
but I want to see Baltimore. I want to see Baltimore and Detroit. Like, let me just say that. Let me just be like really in the front. I bet on Kansas City. Yes, I put my dumbass money on all the bullshit that's gonna go along with Taylor Swift and the conspiracy theories. But I want to see Baltimore versus Detroit. That'll be the most ignorant
hood Super Bowl ever.
See on social media, on life. Like
Baltimore and Detroit,
there, it's gonna go crazy, man. Like people gonna be playing dice in the
hotel
hallway.
Baltimore, Detroit Ninjas.
Outside. It's gonna be nuts,
bro. Detroit Ninjas are insufferable. Detroit Ninjas are insufferable, and Baltimore Ninjas are really insufferable. So you can only imagine. Can you imagine the fuckery when Detroit Ninjas and Baltimore Ninjas get together? Especially for this Super Bowl.
It'll be so crazy, Joe. It would be the funniest shit ever. Like that would be kind of avoid right now. That's why they want Kansas City to win.
Oh my God!
If they want Kansas City to win, they're gonna turn this shit up before the election.
Oh my God! Yeah. I can only imagine how. I can only imagine, bro.
Kansas City versus Detroit. It's like okay, like but if you get two red teams playing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have 49ers versus Kansas City as two red teams. You got red team, blue team now. See? Purple team, red team. Conspiracy theories.
Oh, the red team going to win? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Red team, blue team. So if it's Detroit versus, Detroit, look at Detroit. Look at San Francisco, all the tech elites and all this. We real conspiracy theory now. We down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Also, shout out to my boy Chisel Adonis. We might have the Kansas City Bloods in the Sue Whooper Bowl. Shout out to all my blood homies. But yeah.
Sue Whooper Bowl.
man.
Now we real conspiracy now.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get off this thing, can we just go with like our top three? Top two conspiracy theories each.
All right, go ahead.
Two?
All right, yeah, go ahead. Go. All right, yeah. What is your top? All right, Flip. I'm gonna get with your top two conspiracy theories for, and then we're gonna close it out for the night.
Oh, my top
for the NFL, not for like the world.
Okay. That's a whole different podcast right there.
We ain't going there right now.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go through that rabbit hole. But just your NFL conspiracy theories.
That's a whole different channel for Drip.
Yeah, that's a whole different podcast right there.
Like shit for that.
Yeah.
Starting a conspiracy podcast?
Oh, for the love of God, no! I can only imagine the traffic I would get for a conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah. Why is the number one conspiracy guy I know?
Oh hell
no! You have about 300 episodes for us on. Y'all don't understand.
I'm gonna have y'all.
I'm gonna have y'all convince me to land on the moon.
Oh God, yeah. Y'all I'm gonna tell y'all. If we start a conspiracy theory podcast, y'all gonna turn me into Morpheus from the Matrix. I'm gonna show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. But anyway. We're getting too far off topic right now. Anyway, Flip.
Conspiracy theories about the games that are
yes.
and what it means for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Conspiracy theories leading up to the Super Bowl. And we can do Super Bowl conspiracies next week.
Okay. All right, yes. Anyway, Flip, what is your conspiracy theories about AFC NFC Championship weekend?
Well, my favorite ones are it's got to be the Taylor Swift pushing the Kansas City Chiefs to the Super Bowl conspiracy theory. We've been thinking about that one since she started dating Travis Kelce during the season. So that one's definitely number one because it's looking like it might come true. Number two also has to involve the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the one that we just thought of. The season opener being the way the
Super Bowl,
the Detroit Lions for the first time in 30 years actually making the playoffs, and then they actually go and win it.
Yeah.
Or get close
against the guys who they beat in the opener.
Jared Goff in his second Super Bowl that he loses. That would be interesting. But I gotta go with those two. I do like the hardball one, man. I did create that one on the fly. It sounded good though when I said it. So I'll put that one as honorable mention. But yeah, those are mine.
All right, Flip. Waz, what are your top two championship weekend conspiracy theories?
Well, obviously, I think the last 2 or 3 years, the color scheme designed for the Super Bowl logos obviously have indicated or predicted the teams that'll play in the Super Bowl. And I think this year's the Super Bowl logo that was revealed. I don't know if it's at the start of the season or during the season, but the logo that was revealed was purple and red, which would indicate that it would possibly be Baltimore and San Francisco playing against each other. This was obviously before the playoffs started. This was mid-season or even the start of the season. And again, we are looking at about 10, 11 years removed from the last Super Bowl that they both played against each other.
Yep.
In 2013 when the lights went out, that was in New Orleans.
The Blackout Bowl.
So, and again, for that to happen and be removed, and obviously you're going to have two quarterbacks making their first start
to Mr. Carey. That was a smart move
in a Super Bowl. And again, back then it was two quarterbacks making their first start in a prospective Super Bowl. And again, someone that people thought that Flacco back then, if Flacco was quote unquote an elite quarterback, and whether he deserved to be mentioned with the Bradys and the Mannings and all that. And then you have obviously someone like Lamar Jackson, kind of in a similar boat. I mean, people will put him up there as already the top 5 quarterback, but
right.
he still doesn't get the kind of respect that established kind of quarterbacks, like the typical quarterbacks like Mahomes or even like a Josh Allen or a Joe Burrow. Like he doesn't get that kind of love for whatever reason because he's not as conventional maybe as them. So I think that being a situation, obviously, I think the whole Taylor Swift thing, and that would be the other thing. There is just the situation of Taylor Swift, and just that being a complete media blitz bonanza for the next 2 weeks.
For sure,
I'm not prepared for that. I don't want that to happen.
Nobody is. But all right, Megaton, what are your top two conspiracy theories concerning championship weekend?
Well, that's an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Harbaugh one. The Harbaugh one, I think, has a lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, okay, cool. He kind of like the Michigan story
Mm-hmm.
and everything that happened with Harbaugh, and then going back to the league, and then them possibly facing each other again sometime because they're both in the AFC. I think that becomes an interesting parallel. I like that conspiracy a lot. Also, I like it just because it's a disrespect to the system.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Lamar looks at like the conventional system, just like Wiles just said. He's not your conventional quarterback. You had that person call him quarterbacky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then they killed her for it, and rightfully so. I look at that similar parallel when I think about Justin Fields, and like he's not necessarily your quarterback, but he can run for 100 yards, 120 yards at any time and 2 touchdowns, but also can pass the ball and make that happen too whenever he needs to. And learning the balance of that, I think Lamar has learned the balance of that in a way that's been super interesting, and it breaks convention. So I like that. You know, so I like my conspiracy theory around that is they say he cheated. Okay, cool. They said Lamar kind of cheating too. You a running back and a quarterback. You can't do both. You got to do one. Pick one. Pick a struggle. And then you're like, it's like, nah, man, I ain't finna pick no struggle. I'm finna do what I'm gonna do, and y'all gonna deal with it. And then now what? And be damned afterwards. So I kind of want that to be a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my man Flip already said it. We all said the Taylor Swift one. That's another one too. So I'll put that out there. But the Detroit conspiracy is my number one, man. I think they sacrificed. I said this on this podcast many times. They sacrificed the Pistons. They sacrificed everybody else. They literally have been like, yo, if we can get the Super Bowl over here, because we know the NFL is one of the most profitable things on the planet. It moves more than shit, and it's a shorter season. We ain't got to do it for 40-something games. We only got to do it for 8, and we're going to get the same amount of money. We're going to get the same amount of advertisers. We're going to get this energy. And on top of that, we can make a whole story around it. We can build it around Detroit and say, hey, guess what? Now the car industry's back again. It's back in America. We'll have Eminem come in and rap again like he did with the Chrysler 300 and make all that shit make money. And it's going to be about America first and real American values and Midwest. Get your ass up and shovel your snow at 6 in the morning and take your ass to work in this pussy-ass factory and get to this grind because this is a grind out here. And we're going to do all of that shit. That's my conspiracy for why I think Detroit.
All right.
They gonna shit on y'all. You better get your ass to work in the morning and get back on this factory assembly line that Ford told you about. And Eminem gonna rap about it, and it's gonna be fine and sexy. And I done said all the things that I love about the track. But let's go.
All right. Now I've actually got 3 conspiracy theories. Now, number one, I don't know if y'all saw that post on Twitter about somebody's somebody pulled up the Super Bowl on the TV guide, and a quote unquote spoiler was posted. They said, that Super Bowl 58 will feature the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. So the NFL scriptwriters are on one. So that's part of the reason why I'm hoping for an upset from one team. The second one is, I don't think that Lamar, here's the thing. Does Lamar Jackson break that I can't beat Patrick Mahomes curse? That's the second one. I think that this might actually be the game where he does it. I think so. And the third one, like I said, we already went over that. The third conspiracy theorist is the rematch of the season opener between the Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. But those are my top 3. Well, my 2 and my 1 extra. But all right, fellas. Wow, we cooked tonight, man. Like, tonight was a very interesting podcast. I love this one. But anyway, you guys got any final thoughts before we sign out tonight?
Yes, sir. Harbaugh is coming to take over the AFC. The AFC West is done for. And if the AFC West isn't done for, then I'm gonna come back in here extra depressed.
And eat your words.
Oh man.
All right, Flip. I mean, Waz.
If we draft Caleb Williams, I will never buy a Caleb Williams jersey. I will never buy a Caleb Williams jersey.
Oh, so now you're a little scared. You know Marvin coming over there.
That is my prophecy statement. I'm standing on it. If we draft
standing on
him,
business,
I'm never buying a Caleb Williams jersey. I don't give a fuck what happens. Y'all some hoes.
Why are you so anti-Caleb? You know Marv ain't going there.
Yeah.
Do you want me to revisit my anger towards the child?
Oh, we know.
The child.
We know.
Let me not do that.
Yeah.
I don't need that on my conscience for the evening. I'm just gonna say Caleb Williams ain't built for Chicago. If he comes to the Chicago media and has to deal with us for 3 years, when you look at him afterwards, his mental health will never be the same.
What do you mean? Justin Fields is doing just fine. Y'all are gonna get Caleb Williams and a nice either edge player or maybe another wide receiver for Caleb in the first round. And y'all gonna ball out, man. We're gonna come back next week and we're gonna talk about draft picks.
Yeah, for sure.
You can tell us your ideal players to pair around Caleb Williams in the draft.
Yeah. Draft picks.
I ain't never buying that pussy nigga jersey.
Boy. Draft picks, players of the year, MVP. We can talk about all that in next week in our Super Bowl prediction. But yeah, anyway, Waz, final thoughts before we sign out tonight.
Nah, man. I'm over San Francisco. I mean, Brock Purdy gets a lot of unnecessary hate, I feel, and I think it's just a lot of people just can't accept the fact that the last pick in the NFL draft has done so well for his career and has a chance to be a Super Bowl champion. I mean, that's honestly would be the best story out of this, right?
Yeah.
I think even with Detroit being able to potentially win a Super Bowl and wipe that franchise and wipe that that stain off that franchise.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that Purdy is only 2 games away from winning a Super Bowl and he was the last pick in the NFL draft and made a team, that's a Hollywood script.
Yeah, it is.
Dare I say?
For sure.
We got that before though, Waz. We got that with Tom Brady.
He was
the last pick. The last pick.
Well, he was. Yeah, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. So yeah. Yeah, Tom Brady got picked in the 6th round, and now he's considered the GOAT. But yeah.
Oh well, shit. If we roasting Disney movies, can we talk about DeMar Hamlin ass getting the ball when he had no business?
Bro, let me tell y'all this. Every time I held my breath.
Y'all was scared.
Yo, I held my breath. Every time I saw DeMar Hamlin trying to make a play on the ball, I held my breath. I was like, oh my God, no, not again. But yeah, that joke made me paranoid.
Fake punts and trying to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Really? This is what we doing?
Yeah, it's like, dude, you had a heart attack on the field.
I'm just laughing.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't nobody was more nervous than me every time they saw DeMar Hamlin try to make a play on the ball. Yeah. Jesus.
Oh man.
But yeah, Megaton, final thoughts before we sign out tonight?
Yeah, man. Lamar, I wish you the best, man. I hope you win. But my money's still on Kansas City.
For the culture.
If we draft Caleb Williams, I'm never buying his jersey. No.
Yeah. Well, all right, gentlemen. That'll do it for the AFC NFC Championship prediction for the NFL 4th and Goal podcast. Flip, Waz, Megaton. Y'all are the GOATs. I appreciate y'all hosting the show with me, and I'll be back next week. Peace out. Good night, y'all.
Thanks for having us.
Peace.